for our special board meeting tonight, March 31st. I call this meeting to order at 8:17 p.m. And we will now go to community comments on closed session items. And I believe we have a couple. Oh, excuse me, I forgot to take roll call. Thank you. Dr. Oviedo, can you lead us in taking roll call tonight for our board?
Sure. Trustee Castaneda-Gallegos.
Present.
Trustee Rodriguez-Moisa.
Here.
Trustee Canchola. Here. Trustee Lopez.
Present.
Trustee Mendez.
Thank you very much. And now we move to community comments on closed session items this evening. I believe we have two community comments. Well, we have three now. Very good. Dr. Oviedo?
Sure. So the first one is Matthew Francis, teacher.
Pardon, we skipped the other reasons?
That's during the...
It'll be after closed session. Thank you.
Where's Kevin to turn this on? I don't think it's on. There we go. I can figure it out. I got it. Good evening, Dr. Oviedo, members of the board, community members. I come here not in my official role as WSEA president, but as an educator in the district, as an alumni of Whittier High, and an occasional resident of the city of Whittier, usually Tuesday nights. As such, my views reflect myself and not the association. In times like these, when trust in leadership is often questioned, we must remind ourselves that public service is first and foremost about doing what is right, not what is convenient. Not what serves personal interests, but what upholds the integrity of our institutions and most importantly serves the students of this district. Tonight we find ourselves in a situation that should not be complicated. Two separate organizations, both with the authority and expertise to make such determinations, have deemed that holding two elected offices is incompatible. That should be enough. When impartial bodies tell us that a conflict exists, the ethical course of action is clear. Abide by the decision and step aside. But instead of adhering to what is right, we now face the threatened potential of a costly special election. An election that will not be free. An election that will take money from where it belongs. Our students, our classrooms. And for what? To satisfy one individual's unwillingness to put the needs of this district before their own? This is not a question of personal ambition. It is a question of responsibility. Leadership is not about clinging to power. It is about knowing when to step back for the greater good. The students of this district should not bear the financial burden of this refusal. They should not have their resources diminished because an adult in a position of power refuses to do the right thing. Tonight, I urge the board and the community to remember what matters. The money we may be forced to spend on a special election could be spent on our schools, our teachers, our staff, and most importantly, our students. This is where our focus should be. This is who we serve. And this is why this should not be a debate. Integrity matters. Doing what is right matters. And when multiple authorities tell us what the right course of action is, we must listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Francis.
Our next community comment is from Juan Rodriguez, representing CSEA.
Good evening, everybody. I stand before you today not just as a concerned staff member, but as someone who believes in accountability, integrity, and a focus on what truly matters: our schools, our students, and the hardworking employees who keep this district running. Excuse me. Instead of prioritizing the well-being of our staff, the success of our students, and the future of the district, this board seems more preoccupied with political infighting, specifically the removal of a single board member. This weighs more than the pressing issues affecting our schools. Let's be clear. We have classified employees who are struggling to make ends meet. We have teachers and staff members working tirelessly, often without fair contracts or proper support. We have students who deserve the very best education, but instead we're witnessing misplaced priorities and wasted energy on personal agendas. Where is the commitment to union negotiations? Where is the urgency in addressing the financial and professional concerns of the classified employees? Why is so much effort being spent on internal conflicts when we have real challenges that demand attention? Our districts deserve a board that puts education first, that fights for their wages and working conditions, that ensures that our schools are thriving, not one that engages in distractions and division. So tonight I ask the board, refocus your energy, shift your priorities, stop the unnecessary battle, because every day spent on political maneuvering is a day lost for our students, our staff, and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews.
And final community comment is from Margie Granado.
Good evening, school board and community. My name is Margie Granado. I'm a resident of Whittier. I live over by Catherine Edwards Middle School. And when I'm not a community member, I'm a teacher from Montebello, and I also serve on the board of directors for the California Teachers Association. I do a lot of things. One of the things that I don't do is often agree with school boards. Get that? I just don't. Typically it's something we're going to come up adversarially. In this instance, I've gone through the board agenda, I've pulled the documents. You all are fiduciaries to this district. All of you, fiduciaries. We all have our roles in our positions, and I'm seeing clearly the legal opinions that there is a conflict of interest. In my position on my board, conflict of interest, I recuse myself, I leave. I cannot serve when that happens. You've received guidance that says there is an absolute conflict of interest. Full stop. I urge you to uphold your decision, if it should be this decision, because I don't know what y'all are doing behind the walls, to eliminate this tomfoolery and have just a school board that deals with the school board, have other positions that deal with other positions. You should not be mixing the two. You need to center the students of this community. You need to center the workers of this community. You need to center the community. And so I know we're all in this together to really see our students and our community thrive. It makes me excited to see wonderful things happening in the city where I live. But this nonsense, yeah, we should not be engaging in something like that. If there's a conflict, there's a conflict. Say goodbye and move on. Really, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Granado. Okay, very good. We've heard from our comments tonight. We take them very seriously. We listen very acutely to what you have to say, and we thank you for being here tonight to share your thoughts. At this moment, we're going to pivot into closed session. We ask that you hang in there while we convene in closed session. When we return, we will be doing the Pledge of Allegiance, land acknowledgement, approving the agenda for tonight's open session, community comments for open session items, and then of course our new business. So I just wanted to give you a run through as to what to expect tonight. With that, we will adjourn to closed session. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our open session. We just emerged from closed session. Information was shared, no action taken. And at this point, I'd like to now have our Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Juan Rodriguez, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes, sir, I will. Everybody please stand. Face the flag, hand over your heart. Ready and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. And thank you all for your patience in waiting for us. It's good to see you back. At this point, we will have our land acknowledgement. Dr. Oviedo, will you lead us in reading our land acknowledgement, please?
The Whittier Union High School District acknowledges our presence in the traditional ancestral land of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples, which includes the villages of Chiquishna, now Santa Fe Springs, Sahate, now Los Nietos, Whittier, and the villages of Sijitna, now Whittier San Gabriel River area. This land remains unceded territory. Whittier Union High School District honors and respects the Gabrielino Tongva ancestors and their connection to this land.
Thank you, Dr. Oviedo. Item 5 is approval of tonight's agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. Moved by trustee Controla. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Rodriguez Moisa. Any discussion on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, I call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none, passes 4-0. That brings us to community comments. Are there any community comments for tonight's open session?
I have one. Matthew Lacey, representing CSEA.
Hello, could I just speak from here? We got a small enough room. I just,
Please approach the podium so that we all hear you. Thank you, sir, so much, Mr. Lacey. Good to see you tonight.
thank you, nice to see you too, sir. An issue that I have with what's been proposed against Mr. Mendez that I feel is unfairly misrepresenting him is that I don't feel that this board has made a precedent of ruling on issues of where our tap water comes from on a regular basis, which makes it hard for me to understand how this has become a conflict of interest. When in compliance with the Commission of Fair Political Practices, which I may have the acronym incorrect, but as long as he abstains from any votes regarding where our tap water comes from and whatnot, he is in no conflict of interest with his 2 seats. I know that other board members serve on other boards for different things, different schools and whatnot, which might have a different interest when you talk about our students going from our schools to those schools. Those might have a little more interest in terms of who's making money off that and whatnot, where I don't want to get into attacking that. I want to honor the fact that our board members serve our communities and are enriching the opportunities for our students and communities. And so being that there's been this 3-2, which we like to talk about or don't talk about, that there's this division. We can't afford to be against a 4-1. If Mr. Mendez is out, we can't afford against a 5-0. Our futures are bleak on both sides, and I just want to address that, regardless what decision is made, that for the sake of his constituents who voted for him, for the sake of just our working together, I don't like that. Regardless if I bring it up to you guys, we're talking about this on site, that there's this 3-2, there's this rift, the teachers are on one side, classified is on one side, bargaining units don't support one another. And I keep on talking about unity, so I just ask that you be mindful of these things moving forward, and that in my representing myself, a constituent of Whittier Union High School District, as long as Gary Mendez abstains from any votes regarding the actual where our tap water comes from, I feel that he is in no conflict of interest, in that he honorably serves his seat as the representative of his board seat that he's been voted into by his constituency. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lacey. Any other community comments tonight? Seeing none, we move on to the next item. Item number 7, new business, 7.01. Discuss compatibility of offices and approve next steps. So tonight, our board has an opportunity to have a discussion on what action to take, if any, regarding the potential incompatibility that was discussed at our last regular board meeting, and also discussed in the attachments for tonight's meeting. We waived, the board, by a vote, waived the closed session privilege to make the legal opinions available to the community, and I believe all of you have access to those. We reviewed them as well. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor right now to my colleagues to see if they'd like to share any comments tonight, or if there's any action or that needs to be introduced at this time. But before they do, I just want to briefly state something I stated in closed session, and I don't think I'm violating any laws by stating it openly tonight in front of all of you. I listened very closely to the public comments that were made tonight, and I found a lot that I agree with in terms of the importance of remaining focused on student success, remaining focused on our mission to achieve and maintain excellence in student achievement, and to promote growth and development of our employees. Those are things that I think remain central for all of us. And it's really important for us to be able to make sure that we remain focused And for me, we have an opportunity tonight as a board to take action that will start us out on the road to having a board that is entirely singularly focused on students, where loyalties are not divided. And a couple of quotes come to mind. A house divided against itself cannot stand, and that's same with a trustee. A trustee with an internal conflict or a potential conflict divided against itself, themselves, herself, himself, cannot serve. And another quote that comes to mind is, no person can serve two masters. These are things that are not just ethereal, they're relevant to serving students day in and day out. And our students deserve to have focused trustees who do not have conflicts, who don't have to split their time and their hearts and their minds between two offices. So having said that, I'm pretty clear on what we should do as a board tonight, but I'm going to withhold further comments at this time and open it up to my colleagues to see if they'd like to make any comments. Yes, Trustee Rodriguez, please.
I think for purposes of our discussion, I'll go ahead and make a motion for discussion purposes. And then after that, I can make a comment if there's a second.
Sure.
I would move that the Board of Trustees proceed with filing an application with the Attorney General's office for leave to bring a quote warrant of action on the grounds of incompatible offices with respect to Trustee Mendez.
I second the motion.
It has been moved by Trustee Rodriguez Moisa and seconded by Trustee Controla to move to adopt quote warrant to action.
Direct an application be
To
filed.
direct an application be filed with the Attorney General's office for the state of California. Now that a motion has been made and seconded, I'll open it up for discussion. Anyone else like to discuss any comments tonight regarding this action?
I'll start first if you don't mind.
Sure. You have the floor.
Thank you. I too listened very carefully to what the members of the public say here to us in closed session, what we hear about from our constituents and other discussions. And I want to repeat something I said last, whenever our last meeting was, and I said it to Mr. Mendez directly as well. This is a very, very difficult decision, not one that I take lightly. Mr. Mendez was rightfully, properly elected to serve the constituents in his trustee area here, and so I want to respect that and give deference to that. So it is not an easy decision. But he did choose to run for two other offices while he was on our board. He ran for Rio Hondo College Board of Trustees and for the Central Basin Municipal Water District Board of Trustees. And I want to address a little bit about how we ended up getting here, aside from the fact that obviously he got elected. I know much has been said that others of us hold other offices, but legally, they are not public offices as those are defined pursuant to the law, where this incompatibility of offices doctrine applies. So when Mr. Mendez was first elected to the Central Basin Water District Board, as I understand it, in November, Ms. Conchola requested an opinion on this issue. I was not at that meeting. I was at the meeting in December, and in December I made a request to see if we could have the LA County Office of Education issue an opinion, because that is of no cost to the district. The LACO opinion letter did in fact get prepared and was submitted, and you now have it as part of the public record here, because this board at the last meeting waived our attorney-client privilege. We also waived our closed session privilege with respect to our discussion about the LACO opinion. And in that discussion back in January, Mr. Mendez was very concerned that the LACO opinion had factual inaccuracies. And he felt that it was not complete, and he disagreed with that. The board unanimously agreed, based on his concerns and in an effort to give him an opportunity to be interviewed or provide whatever information he wanted to provide, that we would seek a second opinion. And the board unanimously agreed that Mr. Mendez and I would meet to basically select who the law firm was after we received a proposal from 3 law firms that had been vetted by our general counsel. And that's what we did, and that's how Mr. Larson ended up providing the opinion. It was very important to Mr. Mendez. The other 2 law firms I knew people who were partners in those other law firms. It was very important to him that those firms not be selected because he was worried that I may have had a relationship with any of those folks. I said, absolutely. I want this to be a clean process. I want this to be fair to you. I want you to be able to say everything and anything you want to say and provide whatever information you want to provide, because seeking this action is not an easy one. So we then went with the law firm that prepared the second opinion letter, Stromwasser and Wucher, with whom, for the record, I have no relationship with. I don't know anybody who's a partner there, who's employed there, and who, quite frankly, had the most relevant experience, in addition to the fact that they were people I didn't know. They had the most relevant elections experience. And the facts are really undisputed here. Mr. Mendez was elected to our board in 2022. He was elected to the Central Basin Board in 2024. The two offices held by Mr. Mendez cover the same geographic area. The two offices are public offices for purposes of the analysis under the code. And that the school district, in fact, purchases water from people who buy their water from Central Basin. So I know it seems confusing to folks to say, wait a minute, but the district doesn't have a direct contract with Central Basin. And so, there's not the direct conflict of, I'm sitting here and this board member, and he's sitting over here as this board member, and while we're negotiating the price of water. But that is not what this doctrine of incompatible offices provides. It does not have to be an actual conflict. It is a theoretical possibility that there may be one. And the reason that there is a conflict of interest, what they call the clash of duties, is based on the opinion letter from Stromwasser and Wucher. They set out that the factual relationship between the district, the agencies that the district purchases water from, and those agencies' relationship with Central Basin. For portable water, typically it's purchased from Metropolitan Water District and then sold to us. The rate itself is not set by Central Basin, but Central Basin reserves a right to charge an administrative fee that is passed on to us as an ultimate purchaser of water. On the recycled water, as I understand it, is purchased by LA County Sanitation District, and for the recycled water, Central Basin does in fact set the water rate for that water. And those rates are automatically passed on to us through those folks from whom we buy our water, whether it's Suburban, San Diego Valley, City of Santa Fe Springs. So there is a theoretical conflict, because Mr. Mendez would be in a position on the Central Basin Board to vote to either assess an admin fee, increase it, decrease it, and that already by itself creates that conflict, because either he's going to support Central Basin's request for an increase in fees to pass on to us, or tell them, no, don't do it because I don't want it passed on to the district. And the same thing with respect to the rates that they charge to LA County Sanitation District, because those rates get passed on directly to us, and his ability to influence what those rates are that we have to pay is what creates the conflict. And so I think what's challenging here is that Mr. Mendez was lawfully elected to his office. And as we know from the last meeting, this is a very important office to him. He has shown the tremendous dedication. He cares about our students. He cares about our staff. But the reality is, and the ultimate finding on my part, is we do have a fiduciary duty to ensure that every single board member on this board has an unwavering loyalty only to this board and the work that we do here. And based on the two legal opinions that we received, it's clear that Mr. Mendez cannot hold both offices. And so I will support the motion that I made, that we pursue the application for a quo warranto action with the Attorney General.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez-Moisa. Does any other member wish to comment tonight?
Okay, I will go ahead and go. So I was the first person that asked for a professional opinion in terms of the conflict of interest, because I did get several constituents that approached me and wondered, and I did not have a response. So at that time, I asked Brenton and Oviedo to please follow up and find out some additional information. And because in essence, you know, when we get elected, we become the voice of our constituents. And I felt, you know, they had a concern, so I wanted to make sure that we had a response. And so that's how the initial conversation started. I know that there's been some concerns in terms of, you know, two of us on the board that have relationships with the colleges and universities. I do work for the University of California, Berkeley with the Puente Project, which is one of our programs with Unified School District. We have several schools that are part of the program that I work for and oversee in the high school level. But at no time since I've either been the appointed board member or elected board member have I made any financial decision on Puente. The contract that was signed prior to me being appointed is still in effect, so I was not part of that process. The new contract would be coming in.
Mr. President,
I haven't finished.
the motion, we have to speak to the motion, Mr. President.
Okay.
Understood and received well. Ms.
Okay,
Controller, could
thank
you
you.
direct your comments to the
So,
motion?
yes, thank you, I appreciate that. So in any case, again, in terms of the motion, you know, given the professional background that we have received, acknowledging that there is a potential conflict, I would support the motion in terms of moving forward. So that's it, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Controller. Mr. Lopez, do you have comments to make?
Mr. Chair, can we have a Q&A with any of the legal partners here?
I believe Mr. Gallagher is seated to your right, and Mr. Larson is seated in the audience, so if you have a question for them, I just ask that you remember what we discussed in terms of the parameters of what to bring up and what not to bring up.
Absolutely, and they can not answer the question. So I do have a question, and maybe to Superintendent of the others. So we have two opinions, and we have one law firm here. Was LACO invited to come to this hearing because they were the ones that provided an opinion?
They were not.
Okay, thank you. And then I do have a question to law firm that's here, Mr. Larson. And again, please, if you can't answer, I understand. And I just want to know in terms of, you know, the cost. If we move forward, and I think it's relevant to our discussion in public, and we have to be mindful of this, you know, this decision that's tied to a cost. And again, if you can't answer, I understand. Just a guesstimate, please.
So I'd actually advise against that being something that would be responded to because of the subject matter of it relating to the strategy and the content being confidential matter for closed session.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sorry, Dave. Stay up here, there might be more.
Sure. I do have a question on this, your opinion. Again, I wanted to ask on the brief answer. What do you mean by the third paragraph, very likely, and then two, okay, that's the first question. Can you just quantify, I mean, what does it mean by very likely, and talk about what you mean by that?
So, is my mic on? To be clear, you're asking about the sentence that says it's very likely that the Attorney General would grant leave to sue in quo warranto Correct, that's the sentence there.
Correct.
I mean, what we mean by that is the Attorney General has looked at situations very similar to ours
Thank you.
and found that in those situations, they find that there's a likely incompatible office and a basis to go seek renewal from office in those similar situations.
Thank you. Oh, so I do want to just go over each opinion. The first opinion is the legal opinion. The first sentence, the Board of Trustees of the Whittier Union High School District requested a legal opinion from the LA County of Education General Counsel on whether the offices of the School Board Trustee and Director of Central Basin are incompatible. Now, and I mentioned this before, we did not. There was no action taken by the board. Unlike his law firm, we did take action. This one, we did not. So I have an issue with this one, right off the bat. And then two, relevant facts. Trustee Gary Mendez was elected to a Central Basin. Trustee has declined to resign from the trustee seat. Request that there's no evidence that he actually declined to resign from the trustee seat. And then there was a PR request. The district has water in agreement with Central Basin to provide water to other agencies. Now there's questions here that Mr. Mendez question and answer form that he shared at the last board meeting. This is what he said. He asked, does the Central Basin Water District have agreements and documents that show that the district, Whittier Union High School District, has an agreement with Central Basin Municipal Water District to purchase water? This is what Central Basin said. This is a response. The district has determined that it does not possess records responsive to request number 1. And this letter was sent January 15th by Lane Jane, General Manager, Central Basin Water District. Okay. And then, I'm sorry, he's the one that requested it, Mr. Mendez requested it. And this is the response from Central Basin. So January 15th, Central Basin Municipal Water District have agreements and documents that demonstrate that the district, Whittier Union High School District, purchases water from its schools through Central Basin. And their response is, the district, which is Central Basin, has determined that it does not possess records responsive to number 2, which is that question. 3, does Central Basin Water District have agreements and documents that demonstrate that the Whittier Union High School District has administrative improvements with Central Basin? The district has determined that it does not possess records to request number 3, which is that question. 4, Central Basin is in a position that it may overrule, remove members of Central Basin Water District in a position that it may overrule, remove members of, dismiss employees of, or exercise supervisorial powers over Whittier Union High School District. And Central Basin said the district has determined that it does not possess records responsive to number 4, which is that question. Number 5.
Mr. Lopez, can you make a direct access to the motion on the table?
Yeah. This is,
thank you.
because it's related to.
Thank you.
So just 2 more. Thank you. The Central Basin Municipal Water District present circumstances where there is a possibility of a significant clash of duties or loyalties between the offices of Central Basin and Whittier Union High School District. The answer is the district has determined that it does not possess records responsive to number 5. 6. please provide documents to show that Central Basin Water District provides water to Whittier Union High School District. This is the response. The district has determined that it does not possess records responsive to request number 6. Finally, how does the district, Whittier Union High School District, provide water to other local agencies? Through Central Basin Water District. The district has determined that it does not possess records responsive to number 7. So, there's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of doubt with, you got two opinions, and then we have a response to all these questions from Central Basin. And I just want to share those thoughts. I'm looking at the evidence, not my opinions. So, and also, and there was a request by Mr. Mendez and myself. It says, we ask, please provide communication requesting Trustee Mendez to resign from Whittier Union High School District, and communication with Trustee Mendez declined to resign. Whittier Union High School District has no documents responsive to this request. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
I appreciate it.
Mhm. Any other comments from the board tonight regarding the motion on the table? Seeing none, I guess it's time for public comment. Okay. Okay, just once again to restate the motion currently is to pursue an application for quo warranto with the State Attorney General's office. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Please say nay.
Nay.
Okay. Passes 3-1. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, we have to note, Mr. Mendez is absent.
Yes, he is absent, so that's why it's a 3-1 vote.
Thank you.
Mhm. Unless he's offered a proxy vote, but I have not been contacted about a proxy tonight.
Thank you.
So it stands 3-1. Okay, at this point, that was our one agenda item on tonight's agenda. And are there any other comments? Okay. Thank you everyone for attending tonight. We appreciate you. We heard you loud and clear. And we encourage you to continue to stay engaged, as always, with our district.
Mr. President,
Yes.
can we close in remembrance of Cesar Chavez?
I'd like to close in memory of Cesar Chavez, and if you wouldn't mind a friendly amendment to also celebrate the memory of Joe Eduardo, former trustee who passed away recently, who was one of my mentors. So we adjourn in memory of Mr. Joe Eduardo and Mr. Cesar Chavez, who continue to inspire us every day. See you soon.
Thank you.